That means everybody. Here we are, the Matrixxx Grooove show live. Just trying to figure out how to, work all this stuff. We've got the new streams going out to Twitch and a couple of other platforms and YouTube. And just want to make sure we get all this correct. We're not able to actually set up a show yet, but we will figure that out. This is, let me go ahead and get that intro pick up again. That is our Discord. If you ever want to see what Discord looks like, get over to Patreon right now and cruise over to Discord, and a $10 donation or more, you will actually get in there, into the Discord, and talk to some great people that are in there, and we can meme together and all that other stuff. So Shady Grooove, come on in here, Shady.
Hello, sir. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. This is a very fun place to be. I love being in the Discord with all these patriots and hanging out. And like you said, we get to share the memes and then spread them out to social media and trigger the left. It's just a fascinating, fun time.
Yep, and I'm actually trying to cruise over to find out why I can't get my screen up, Shady. Let me see. Chrome.
Where are? Is it holding it back? Oh, there we
go. Check it out. Maybe I got it. There we are. This is it right here. So this is our Twitter page in the Matrixxx with 3X's on Twitter. And then obviously we've got Shady Grooove with 3 O's on Twitter. So we want to get over there and subscribe if you're not already there. But Shady, where do you want to start today? We got a lot of stuff happening.
Well,
I mean, there's just so much happening, folks.
I tell you what, this is really very interesting what's going on. We just had top, I guess, would be the crazy explosion in Beirut just happened not that long ago that they're claiming was a ship. Very interesting explosion dynamics there for that to have been a ship exploding from firecrackers, my friend.
So let's go check that out, Shady. We got a couple of views here.
couple videos.
Here we go. This is the first one that Poussant showed me this morning. Let's see. It's 11 million views already. Let's check it out. Hang on, let me just start it from the beginning because this is amazing. Here we go. Okay, so you see some firecrackers in that fire. You see that? Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Fireworks factory would definitely do something like that, wouldn't it? I mean, what are they, nuclear fireworks, so. Shady? And why is the smoke orange and red like that? Wow.
It's not a material that's moved here.
Wow, Shady. Oh, wow. By the way, a few seconds ago, let's see. Yesterday we got one donation. Yesterday, wait, we got a couple pledges on Patreon. Yesterday, thank you very much. We got let's see. Yesterday we had Anna, Patreon, Nina, Amy. We've got HRTOFKENN. Thank you. Life Liberty. Thank you. Michelle, thank you very much. I don't want to say the last name because we don't know if you'd want your last name said or not, but Michelle O, if you will, thank you. We got one donation on PayPal. Thank you very much, Poussant. You guys rock, she says. We can't do this without you, and we're going to try to go back to every day again. So we'll be here every day. We're a little late again today. We were, trying to get out at 1 o'clock, and we're going to try to get that going again, guys, just so you know. And I got people texting me right now. But let's check out this next view, Shady. If you guys can, please go to In the Matrixxx Live. Here it is here. You can see when we go live right here. And then if you want to go to YouTube, Shady, look, all you have to do is go like this. And I'm going to YouTube. See? Here I am.
Yeah, so we're going to try to start sharing out this link from the live to see, because every time we share the YouTube link out, no one sees it on Twitter. It seems like their algorithm is messing with us over there.
So Ashinit Ayulan says iron oxide is used for the red color in fireworks. That's good to know. But what about the nuclear part of the explosion? That's used in, that's used in dirty bombs.
There was a lot of debris moved with that second wave right there. I mean, you could see there was obviously something on fire, but I mean, this is a lot of debris.
Look at this, Shady. Moved. Here it is. See that?
That's on the ground.
Yeah, that's a fireworks factory. It's warehouse number 12, they said, Shady. Then somebody said it was a ship. But first they said it was a ship, I think. And then fireworks factory. I mean, it very well could be. But what was in that fireworks factory, Shady? What else could have been in that fireworks factory? Look at that. Look at that, man, guys.
Like I said, that is just enormous of a ring.
Let's get the full effect here, Shady. Look at that. Wow.
That's a significant amount of debris being moved, man, for it to be just an explosion or even a gas leak or anything like that. That is huge.
Yeah, it is. I also have just a theory, right, Shady, I guess. Let's look at this right here. Could the explosion in Lebanon have anything to do with this? This was in February of this year, and it's Al Jazeera, and it said the Syrian women and girls sold into sex slavery in Lebanon. I mean, you wonder, this is a view over Beirut from the Bower, Hammond neighborhood. It's an area by women forced into prostitution and the pimps and the traffickers who control them.
Yep.
So you wonder if this has anything to do with this. Now, again, theory, no fact, guys, right? You understand? But just, there's a big trafficking. It's worldwide, folks, and we are actually sitting on top of the worldwide trafficking ring right now.
We sure are.
So that's just an idea that I had that just kind of came to my mind. And we got Kaylee on. I think she's over now. But I watched a little bit of her, and then we came on. It is the 230th birthday, Shady, of the Marines.
Of the Coast Guard?
Or excuse me. Thank you. What? I'm looking at Coast Guard. What is my problem?
I don't know. I looked over. I was like, wait a minute. I thought it was Coast Guard.
I might be a little dyslexic.
You startled me.
I think I might be dyslexic.
Oh, you're dyslexic?
I think so, Shady.
Oh, I would say that might be a diagnosis there.
Not that anyone is aware of. Okay, so likely the fireworks factory was used as a cover for weapons manufacturing. Aha.
Very good, very true.
And that's again
also,
that Ann Shunt, and I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. Ann Shunt, very good. I think so too. Weapons manufacturing, and if they're doing that, they're probably bringing in, kids, selling kids, because that's what they do, folks.
Well, it looked like there was a pretty significant explosion that had already happened, and a fire had broken out initially, and it was quite large. But then you saw that other event. I mean, that was a different event right there. And really, let's be honest. When do you see a shockwave like that outside of a nuclear signature? I mean, that's pretty epic. It looks like about what a suitcase nuclear device would be capable of.
Yeah, that's very good, and thank you for that input, as Pseudonym says. And by the way, I want to just take a minute, Shady, and thank our wonderful mods, guys.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
We've got
Which one first?
Yeah, we've got some amazing people that help us every single day. And I just tell you that just how thankful I am for them every day. And, we've all been kind of under, attacks, spiritually, if you will. Obviously, we get attacks already. You know how that is. On YouTube and on Twitter and all that stuff. Because when you're over the target, Shady, we don't just fire from the side, Shady. We drive right over everybody, fly right over everybody, and drop Moabs right on top of the target. And they don't like that very much, Shady.
No, that's too precise. That's too precise for them to be okay with and comfortable with. But yes, we do have a great group out there in blue. And if you are new to the show, you are more than welcome to come into the chat and to converse back and forth with the moderators, or ask them questions, or collect the links of the different things that we're discussing here today. I know some of you guys out there watching on your TV and may not know that aspect of the show exists, but we do have a chat here that provides all the links in the sauce. And to Poussant and Sparky and to Kiwi, to Sue, LK Dr. Light is out there today. Thank you guys so much. Rocket Girl, all of the help from these guys. We couldn't do it without you, because it's very intensive to try to keep up with this stuff and make sure that we get the information embedded in the videos. That's a real big part of the platform here.
That's right. And Shady, here's another thing that, they don't like the Treasury being in control. And, remember the theory, guys, that we had that basically was saying that we basically took control of the Treasury. And Q pointed to another article that the president is basically the chair of the Federal Reserve, right? It's in this article here. Mm-hmm. It says the Fed's cure risks being worse than the disease. Let's actually go to that, Shady, because it's amazing. This is the Q post right here that says this scheme essentially merges the Fed and the Treasury into one organization. So meet your new federal chairman, Donald J. Trump. And this is a Yahoo article. Oh, actually,
Fox News.
It's on Fox, but it was on Yahoo, right?
Right.
Yahoo also has
Yahoo
links. There it is right there, Yahoo Finance. See? But do you guys understand what that means? That means we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself. At the end of day 15 period, we will make a decision as to which way we want to go. Now, we're thinking that this is about the virus.
And also,
it is about the virus, Shady.
It absolutely isn't. And right now you're stuck on that tweet. What's the date on that tweet?
3/22.
Correct.
Which is Skull and Bones. Right? So let's take a look at that, right? So Federal Reserve ending, structure. Now this is my P equals Pay Sewer theory that I take so much crap. Shady and I take so much crap.
we do take a little bit of crap over this.
The minute I mentioned the word Pay Sewer, my daughter was doxxed, my girlfriend was doxxed. They don't like it. Okay. Now this is the Federal Reserve ending, Q. Oh, come on, is it? No, structure. So a lot of people don't understand. Like I watched another show and he's like, oh, I'm not sure what the P equals C means. P, C, what's P? Well, if you go to Q Post 1970, you will notice that P, look at this, Shady. Look at I'm in some other country. Look at my name in the Matrix right here. Look at that.
That's in Farsi.
Wow. So I'm in Farsi right now. Anyways, I must be on a UPN. UPN? VPN. Jeez, I do have dyslexia. All right. So going on to explain, what's the shot heard around the world, right? Could it be the Federal Reserve ending, guys? And here is, why is our Treasury, Shady, when was our Treasury? Here it is. Read that for our folks right there.
The history of the Treasury Department began in the turmoil of the American Revolution, when the Continental Congress at Philadelphia deliberated the crucial issue of financing a war of independence against Great Britain.
Huh. Interesting. So that was a war instrument.
So this is very key for you understanding your history. Prior to there being a Treasury Department established, there was no other country. Upon establishing the Treasury in America was the first shot heard round the world, because that was an act of war against the crown. Remember what era we're in. They acted against the crown. They initiated the Treasury to combine funds and to spread around amongst the people so that they could take up arms and fight the British. Okay. So now what are we doing right now with what the president is doing, with taking the money into the Treasury and giving it back to the people to do what with? To fight the Second Revolution.
That's right. And we know this too, that we had a presidential tweet that said, getting a great job being done by Bank of America and many community banks throughout the country. Small business appreciate your work. So Bank of America, well, the Federal Reserve Bank was started by the Charleston, the Cincinnati, and the Chicago Railroad Company, which is the parent for the Federal Reserve. It's a privately owned central bank. We all know that. We all have got that down, and we're thinking Rothschilds. No, it's the Pay-Sewer Empire. They became heavily involved in their banking industry. Their Bank of Lancaster became North Carolina Bank, then Nations Bank, then the biggest bank in Texas, Interfirst, with George Pay-Sewer Bush, is a director. Merged in 1987 with the Republic Bank to form the First Republic. This was later absorbed by Nations Bank, which then merged with Bank of America. Okay? You see that, right?
Very direct setup.
So we are taking all that. So does P equal Pay-Sewer, Q? This is Q Post 1970. I want anybody to help me. Let's decode this, Shady.
Okay,
so here's Q Post 1970. We know the guy that posted it. I think he was actually trying to prove to Q, to try to have Q disprove the Pay-Sewer research, is what I think was happening.
Well, can I give that just a little bit more setup for the folks out there?
Please.
You and I did the Q Lounge Live, the Pay-Sewer show at the end of August in 2018. A month later, maybe 3 weeks later, we did the second show. And then we were working with all these people who ended up turning on us. And the people that we were working with were, to some degree, giving us pushback. And you and I were in a very, what I would consider a theoretical place with it at the time. We were talking back and forth, and we were trying to figure out, like, are we over the target with this? Is this something that we should be paying attention to? And one of the people from the Discord actually made this post on the boards in a sleight of hand type of way, because they didn't think that what we were saying was accurate. This came out of our Discord, literally. And Q
Hi, Luca, if you're watching.
Q responded by dropping the post. Now, Q did not say anything. This is the Anon's post, and you can read it for yourself to see what it says, but let's decode it together, because it says, hey, Q, does P equal Pay-Sewer? When do we start seeing the pain? Okay, now, why else would Q drop this post? Would Q drop this post to tell us that we were not over the target?
Are we seeing any pain with these big companies? GE, they didn't want to do it. We had to build a bridge to bring them into the Treasury to get out of the United States of American Body Politic Trust. So Paysur doesn't mean actually Paysur. It means the family, bloodline, Merovingian, that set up the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is being taken over. The P equals C. So the Paysur, the trustee for the Paysur Trust, is the C, the chair of the Federal Reserve. Now we got our president as the chair of the Federal Reserve. Thereby, P, trust, is out.
Right. And so look at so now we want to condense the conversation here. And whenever you hear Federal Reserve, think trust. Okay. Just like if you were in your family and you were going to set up a trust with your family and you were going to make a trust where the government can't get a hold of it. It's outside of the purview, right? So in your mind, understand Federal Reserve is a trust organized by all of these companies that now brings in every company in America. So here, you're going to really love this. If you have a business license in the United States of America, you are part of this trust. You have went to the government and asked them permission to be in the trust. Therefore, you have offered your services and your taxes and your labor to be paid in as a privilege to be part of this trust. And that is how they control from top to bottom, control every aspect of your finances and business, down to the point where if you don't wear a mask, we will close you. If you want to open and we don't want you to open, we will close you. However, we decide to govern your business. Well, you came and asked us for permission, so you will now stand under our rules. It's very simple. Did I lose you, Matrixxx?
No, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. I like how you just condensed it, because one of the biggest things is first it was P equals Pindar, right? And believe me, Shady and I and the researchers were like, okay, could it be Pindar? And we actually researched Pindar, and basically Pindar is a huge rabbit hole to confuse you. It's an entity, right? It's an entity that they may worship. I mean, that may be it. But ultimately, what Pindar means is Pendragon.
It has to do with
Pendragon is the leader. That's all it means. The leader, the Paysurs. Go ahead.
The leader of their religion. It's not necessarily related to the structure, the financial structure of the globalist cabal control system. I mean, that's different. That would be like,
just before I got, Shady, to expand on that, just before I got kicked off of what is that show over there that is lame now? The Patriot Soapbox. I got in some argument. Well, I didn't argue with him. He was just saying Pindar's PP bought that's what it is. It's Pindar's PP. Penis. I'm like, well, so did Pindar's PP buy the Vatican? Did Pindar's PP buy all the railroads?
Is Pindar's PP the Merovingian bloodline?
Pindar's PP.
I don't know. Asking for a friend.
Then it's like, it's the Pope. Well, Q asked us if it was the Pope. Not asked us, told us it's not the Pope. What is going on here? They have totally screwed this whole thread up, bro.
No, they've broken it up in multiple places.
So Anon says, does P equal Pope? So wouldn't he say, yes, P will be having a terrible May? No, he said Pope, all spelled out in Killbox. So therefore, for me, let me decode that, Shady.
Okay, go ahead. You take this one.
So P does not equal Pope. Right? But those who backed him, well, the Paysurs via the Rothschild French arm of the Paysur, the worker bees for the money, that's where the money came from, is these people, the Merovingians, aka you might know them as the Templars, you might know them as the Masons, you might know them as everything. Back in 1950, over 350 of the Fortune 500 companies were railroad companies. Railroad, Paysur, 5-5.
All under the same trust. 5-5, all all cooperating together, pretending like they're Carnegie, pretending like they're Vanderbilt, so that you think that they're the same as you. You look at this family structure and say, oh, there's a wealthy family. You don't understand that they have children that they name different names and give to different people and send out across the land to eventually, over a century, be able to track their bloodlines, know who the people are, hint, hint, Bushes, Schiffs, Pelosi's, Newsom's, all these names that are now weren't the names of then. Some of them are, but they are everywhere in Hollywood, in bureaucratic government. Whenever the president says swamp is everywhere, they're everywhere. And this is the way that they use their ability to hide. They literally are so everywhere, you can't see them.
That's right. I'm trying to find the other tweet I did. It's hidden really bad. Saudi. Let me see if I can find that. Because there's a post that shows how we just took. Okay, so you know the post that has $6 million Saudi Arabia. Let me see. You got $6 million Saudi Arabia, $2 trillion Rothschild, $1 trillion Soros. Right. So that those went into the dun dun dun. Where did that money go, Shady?
To the Treasury.
From the
Pacer
Federal
Trust.
Reserve. Yeah, exactly. From the trust.
So
right?
See, this is how this is working, just so you can get your mind around this. We are taking assets off the books. In other words, we're running up the debt against the Fed, removing assets and redistributing amongst the people to the Treasury. And also, he's pulling in these companies. The company, the GE.
He's building a bridge. How do you fix a bridge without closing it down? You do bridge loans.
We make bridge loans, and then we take them into the Treasury, and then we put penalties against them and start the process of managing and properly vetting and auditing these companies that have been offshoring everything, lying about all their profits, lying about what they're really doing for business. Remember, a ton of these companies that you're seeing, including things like the NBA and the NFL, they're money laundering fronts, guys.
Yes.
Let's be realistic. You're looking at, concerts, people that do concert venues, Clear Channel, all this stuff. It's money laundering. It's a front for money laundering. And now you're seeing your country shut down largely because the money launderers are kind of being put out of business.
Right. So we had $1 billion just taken out of, what was it called? Bitcoin. Boom, $1 billion. Money laundering.
Somebody needed some petty cash.
Because we are cutting the strings, guys. Let me just see if I can find this other tweet, dude, because it's that decode of the tweet, but I cannot find it, guys. It is buried, dude. It's the one with the how I pointed out that it is going into the trust. And so 6.2 trillion went into the Federal Reserve, guys. Okay? 6.2 trillion out of the Saudis. That was the first PPP loan, right? 6.2. And that was confirmed by Trump's money dude. Then we had another 484 billion. So if you add, well, first of all, let's go to that post. I can't, Shady, if you can find it real quick. I think it's 144 maybe, is it? Check it out. It's the one with the listing of the billions, okay, or trillions. So we had 4 trillion from Saudi Arabia, 2 trillion from Rothschild. Now, mind you, the Rothschilds have been taken out in the 1990s, okay? They have had no power. That's what the 99-year leases were doing, and that's what the Clinton foundations and all these, other rogue bloodlines are trying to grab their assets. And then our president on 12/21/17 has this awesome thing called crime against humanity and corruption, and that is taking assets from people that are trafficking, that are doing everything else, bringing it into the dun 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 Treasury. Okay, so here you go. Let's see what is happening with the TikTok deal. Here we go.
I suggested that he can go ahead. He can try. We set a date. I set a date of around September 15th, at which point it's going to be out of business in the United States. But if somebody, and whether it's Microsoft or somebody else buys it, that'll be interesting. I did say that if you buy it, whatever the price is, that goes to whoever owns it, because I guess it's China, essentially, but more than anything else. I said a very substantial portion of that price is going to have to come into the Treasury of the United States.
Where?
Because we're making it possible for this deal to happen. Right now, they don't have any rights unless we give it to them. So if we're going to give them the rights, then it has to come into this country. It's a little bit like the landlord-tenant. Without a lease,
See, 99-year leases.
So they pay what's called key money, or they pay something. But
Key
the United States should
money.
be reimbursed or should be paid a substantial amount of money, because without the United States, they don't have anything, at least having to do with the 30%. So I told him that. I think we're going to have maybe a deal is going to be made. It's a great asset. It's a great asset, but it's not a great asset in the United States unless they have the approval of the United States. So it'll close down on September 15th unless Microsoft or somebody else is able to buy it and work out a deal, an appropriate deal, so the Treasury of the Treasury, I guess you would say, of the United States gets a lot of money. A lot of money. Okay?
Okay.
So now the Treasury
You found the
is
keystone, too. Did we now find the keystone? Shady?
I want you to check this out. I got something here that I just found. I want you to see. I'm dropping to you now.
In where?
In the Discord, dude. This is the symbol for your Treasury Department. So take a look at this. United States Department of Treasury includes the flag of the Treasury Department and the U.S. Treasury seal. The seal actually predates the department
They even call it a sigil.
Having originated the Board of Treasury during the period of the Articles of the Confederation, the seal is used on all U.S. paper currency and, like other department seals, on official Treasury documents. Now, the seal, to some degree, had been removed from the money. Seal includes a chevron with 13 stars representing the 13 states. Above the chevron is a balance representing justice. The key below the chevron represents authority and trust. Okay?
Huh.
So originally, the American Treasury was the trust of the people. In other words, the combined money of the people. We trusted the government to pay them the tariffs that ran our country, okay, for imports. That was the way we originally had the country structured, not off the backs of the people. The people have the country. We have the wealth already. There's no reason to tax us. But now look at the think mirror situation that you're in with the way you're taxed. You're taxed like chattel. You're taxed like you're owned. You're taxed like they control you. You're not taxing other countries, which is the way this all started, so that we could tax other countries for shipping stuff here, right?
So nobody else is picking up on this, Shady. So this is a Matrixxx Grooove show exclusive.
This is what your country. The Treasury Department, I'm going to say this again. The Treasury Department represents your country. In 1913, whenever they initiated the Jekyll Island takeover of the Federal Reserve.
And who bought Jekyll Island, the land?
The Payseur Trust.
Interesting. Who were trustees for the Payseur Trust? All the people on Jekyll Island.
all the bloodline families, and that's why Q has been so adamant to point us back to the bloodlines and why the bloodlines are so important. The Department of the Treasury is your country, is your common law nation, your republic. The constitutional republic lies inside the Treasury. The monarchical control maritime law admiralty system lies in the Fed. Okay, this is what the plan is, to cut off the head of the beast at the neck, not worry about the fingers, not worry about the toes or any other of the pieces. We take it out at the head and we let the whole body die, because we're bringing it back to our treasury. It's coming back to you. It's coming back to benefit the country. It's coming back to actually relieve the burden from you. The Federal Reserve claims that you owe them $26 trillion, and that is interest on debt that you gave them. You gave them the gold 100 years ago to hold for us and maintain the system, and they stole it, systematically removing gold from your money by 1971. They'd done it in less than 100 years.
That's right. And, so we're looking at the Payseurs. This is the assets of Louis Cass, Pessoa, and De Landry. There's more than 13 bloodlines, as you know, but there's 13 top, and Merovingians are the leaders. But Louis Cass Pessoa, this is only a third of his assets, guys. It's all the railroads, the banks. Here's all the
Mining
banks.
companies.
And then Q dropped all the Federal Reserve banks. Remember that? So these are all their assets. They're not Rothschild assets. They are worker bees. Rothschilds are worker bees.
And let me add what were the worker bees doing? This is what the worker bees were doing. They were tasked with sending out scouts across the country of America to find resources, whether it would be mining resources or whether it would be land resources like timber. All the different resources were mapped out. And then they sent back the schematic of how to maneuver the railroads around to these specific locations and to drain the resources. In other words, to control all of the systems. The railroad and your interstate system are very, very similar.
They are. They're the same. It's all the same.
Right.
All the same. And so what happens is these companies have 99-year leases. Do you remember when GM was taken in by the government? We just thought it was a government takeover. No, the lease was up on GM. Here's General Motors companies. It's one of their original companies, General Motors. Okay. General Motors lease ran out. So if they don't put a trustee at the head of it, like insert a new trustee, it gets taken back into the government.
Right. Back into the hole. And that's the same thing with like people like Richard Branson. They all have these PACs. So as soon as like one of them passes away, then their assets go back into the trust of the whole and they split it up amongst themselves.
So their first trust was called the Virginia Company. Okay. And then when they cleaned up and tried to, do a lot more in regards to, taking over our country, or actually setting up the systems of our country. I mean, education is their system. The Federal Reserve is their system. They brought it into the United States of America and Body Politic Trust.
And just to throw out a little tidbit for you guys to know that the person who made the seal for the U.S. Treasury, Francis Hopkinson, was one of the signers of your Declaration of Independence.
Yes. They wanted away from this system that we...
This is exactly why we left Europe to begin with.
That's right. We thought we won, right?
And the church was part of that. The church and this whole tax system, it was all the system. If you remember, if you're a little bit older, they actually taught you in school how the church would control science. And right now you're watching on TV how the church is controlling science.
So how do you destroy the most powerful country in the world? By direct attack? Or by a covert op to infiltrate at the highest levels to destroy from within?
Yep.
5-5?
Yep.
Think game. Who are the players? What are the rewards? America for sale. Patriots in full control. We will make more public. The reason why America is for sale, the trusts' 99-year leases are expiring.
And people can pick them up on the market.
Bada bing.
Bada boom.
Right. So here's your hierarchy. The Rothschilds are at the bottom. They're the cult leaders, guys. Then the church.
Wait, I thought we were the cult.
Oh, yeah, we're the cult because we're asking you to think for yourselves, right? But look at that. What do you think, guys? Pretty interesting. So P at the top, church, cult leaders, Rothschilds. That's how it works, guys. Here you go. One of the most secret and most powerful families in North America has been the Pessoas. They have been so powerful that they could hide their wealth and power. However, tech has hindered their ability to hide, as per QPost. And the use of satanic families as proxies. They use the other bloodlines as proxies. You understand? The Pessoas are part of the top 13th bloodline family. It's the Merovingians, okay? The first Pessoa to come to America was a former crown prince of France, Daniel Pessoa. He came over about 1805 to the U.S. and married Susanna Kisser, 1814. They had two boys, Adam and Jonas. Jonas married Henrietta Smith, and they had Louis Cass Pessoa. It was this Louis Cass Pessoa who hired the Rothschild bloodline of the Springs to run a number of the Pessoa companies. The Pessoas were the only original big railroad families, along with Isaac Krum, and William Beatty. Isaac Kroom's wife was a sister of William Beatty's. So the reader can now see how all these bloodlines intertwine. Now, Springs. Abraham Lincoln was a Rothschild. Springfield. Bush was put on 4141 engine and rolled around on the Payseur Railroad. 4141 55.
Wasn't it Springs, Texas?
Yeah, he stopped in Springs, Texas. I mean, they tell you. They're telling you everything.
They tell us exactly what it is they're doing. They just know we can't see it. But their control over you dictates that they tell you to hold a better spell. And that's another thing to just touch on real quick. The reason the bloodlines are so important to them is because of the spell that they hold over you. They have to maintain it, and they have to be able to, quote, trust one another. So they have to make sure that the person that is there isn't going to pull a Lincoln or pull a JFK,
right,
and get
or
outside the box.
Well,
or pull a Reagan, right? And now we have someone up there who's pulling a Trump, and they are so confused because they literally thought they had every single avenue covered, everything turned over, except for what happened the last 8 years under Obama. They got completely crazy because they never thought that she would lose.
Right. By the way, I want to thank Pastor Shadley for our only donation today so far. Thank you, guys. 1776. Thank you. Where we go, one we go all, friends. Love you guys. Thank you, Patriots. God wins. Thank you, Pastor Shadley. You've been amazing. I appreciate you.
Appreciate all the work out there, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody, all the help.
And that $17 will help me pay for my internet here, Shady. So thank you very,
all right,
very much.
2 cups of coffee, so that's pretty good.
That's it. So here's the Peugeot committee investigation. Peugeot. They spelled it Peugeot, but it's French. Peugeot. You heard of the car company Peugeot? Mm-hmm. They were trying to say, oh my God, this trust of the Payseurs, holy moly, they're using banks and they're going international. The national banks are exceeding their charter powers in the character of the business that they are constructing from which their principal revenues are derived. They are not acting as promoters, underwriters, and house of issue of the securities of railroad and industrial corporations. Their activities have extended even in the foreign countries.
You don't say.
Huh.
So people were trying to warn us?
Don't follow Matrixxx. He's bad. Here's a 1913 committee report from the House of Representatives, guys. It's investigating the concentration of control, money, and credit. This is your system, folks. These are your hidden hand leaders.
The invisible enemy.
Right.
You know, like it's not hidden from you. They think it's hidden because they don't think you'll go look. And it's hard to explain. That's another thing that a lot of people miss. It's hard to explain these things to people because people literally can't believe that you went to look and they don't want to go look. Right. I mean, it kind of is.
They just want to say, some guy DM'd me and said Matrixxx is bad because we found the real history of our country and we don't like it.
And we're also pointing out how the president is bringing your country back under the Treasury. No one is really pointing that out, that you are seeing these companies being brought back. See, whenever the country was founded, any type of corporation that there was all kinds of controls on corporations before 1913. Like the CEO of a corporation couldn't make more than, I think it was like 200 times his lowest paid worker.
Wow.
So there were all these different structures that were set up through the unions and through the Fairness Act and other things that occurred to try to keep things even, to not allow things to grow outside. Well, these people didn't like that.
Right.
You see, they didn't like not being able to accrue whatever they wanted to accrue. And they didn't like not being able to hire slave labor. And now you're looking around and you see the liberal triggered left mixed with the swampy swamp GOP. Well, they don't like you taking away their illegal immigrant that's mowing their yard, do they?
Nope.
They don't like you taking away the person that comes to clean their house for $6 an hour, do they?
Nope.
You see, so why would I want to pay someone of value $20 to $25 an hour, which is roughly what a minimum wage average should be? Why would I want to do that whenever I can pay this person $6? And then why would I vote to put up a wall?
Right.
And then why would people start all of a sudden, whenever they start defunding the police, well, all of a sudden now we're getting businesses that are literally getting demands from Black Lives Matter that say, if you don't hire 23% African Americans, if you don't put your African American employees in certain positions, if you don't give back X amount to your community, then you have to pay us just like the mob.
Right. And
So
what people don't
everything
understand is these families control the synthesis and the antithesis.
Correct.
Right?
Both sides.
Yes. So, the Black Lives Matter is set up by how do you say it, Shady? The Bullion? What is it? Society?
Boule
Society.
Yes.
The Boule Society is, working for the bloodlines. They're the antithesis, and the synthesis, if you will, is this: the money, power, and control. I don't care what laws you guys put in place. If we control the money, we control the people. Do you understand?
Yes.
And our president is doing what? Let's just watch this again, Shady, to bring it all back around.
Yeah, one more time.
I suggested that he can go ahead. He can try. We set a date. I set a date of around September 15th, at which point it's going to be out of business in the United States. But if somebody, and whether it's Microsoft or somebody else, buys it, that'll be interesting. I did say that if you buy it, whatever the price is, that goes to whoever owns it, because I guess it's China.
So what Microsoft is trying to do is give money to China because we've cut a lot of strings. Okay, here we go.
Essentially, but more than anything else, I said a very substantial portion of that price is going to have to come into the Treasury of the United States.
Come into where, Shady?
Treasury
Of the,
United States.
and that's our bank, right?
That's my bank.
Now he calls it key money. So let's keep going.
Because we're making it possible for this deal to happen. Right now, they don't have any rights unless we give it to them. So if we're going to give them the rights, then it has to come into this country. It's a little bit like the landlord-tenant. Without a lease, the tenant has nothing. So they pay what's called key money, or they pay something. But the United States should be reimbursed or should be paid a substantial amount of money, because without the United States, they don't have anything, at least having to do with the 30%. So I told him that. I think we're going to have, maybe a deal is going to be made. It's a great asset. It's a great asset, but it's not a great asset in the United States unless they have the approval of the United States. So it'll close down on September 15th unless Microsoft or somebody else is able to buy it and work out a deal, an appropriate deal, so the Treasury of the Treasury, I guess you would say, of the United States gets a lot of money. Okay?
So we've been trying to explain that the Treasury is the keystone, okay? The people, the Treasury is represented by the people, for the people. The people are the keystone. Matrixxx, I'd like for you to real quick pivot to the post, because it brings both of these things we've been talking about together. 133. You were almost there. I think you said 144, but it's 133. And you'll find very interesting how many of the things that we've been talking about in the last half hour, 45 minutes, are in this post. You want me to read it? You
Yes,
have it up?
sir.
All right, here we go. Number 133. This is 11/11/2017. Hard to swallow, important to progress. Who are the puppet masters? House of Saud, 6 plus 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 4 trillion plus. Rothschild, 6 plus plus 2 trillion plus. Soros, 6 plus 1 trillion plus. Focus on above 3. Okay? Focus on above 3. All three of those are the exact trustees of the Federal Reserve. Public wealth disclosures, false. Many governments of the world feed the eye. Think slush funds, feeder. Think war, feeder. Think environmental pacts, feeder. Think money laundering. See, same thing. Triangle has 3 sides. Eye of providence, Follow the bloodlines. What is the keystone? Does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island? What is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship? Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of the colors, design, and symbol above the dome? Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When? How often? Why? Vladimir Putin, the New World Order, worships Satan. Q. Now, I don't know how we can tie this together any better than that. I mean, to me, this is not rocket science. This is very direct comms. You have your keystone, which is your treasury, which is the foundation, the absolute,
we the people and the treasury. Yeah.
The only foundation to your country, the only cornerstone to your country is the treasury. Every asset from the cabal, as soon as the treasury was established, was hell-bent and determined on destroying the treasury. They accomplished it in 1913 by usurping the process and inserting the Federal Reserve where the treasury was, and then systematically over 100 years convinced you it doesn't exist.
Now,
very easy.
See who worships Satan, right? So what we understand is these people are into communism and Marxism, right?
Correct.
So let's talk. Let's just build. Let's hear.
Clinton studied at Oxford in England. Most of his professors there described themselves as Marxist-Leninists or socialists. In early 1969, Clinton was called to London for a physical examination and was classified 1A, which meant Vietnam. Upon his return to Arkansas, Clinton drove to Fayetteville to the home of Colonel Eugene Holmes, commander of the Army ROTC unit at the University of Arkansas, where he begged to join the program. Clinton signed a letter of intent and gave a pledge to enter the university law school. In the fall, he returned to Oxford, where he would help organize demonstrations against the United States outside the American embassy.
Don't say.
On December 2nd, 1969, in violation of his promise to enroll in the ROTC program, he applied to Yale Law School. On December 3rd, he wrote a letter to Colonel Holmes stating, quote, "Because of my opposition to the draft and the war, I have great sympathy with those who are not willing to fight, kill, and maybe die for their country," unquote. Mr. Clinton was described as a moocher and with no apparent income. Yet he left England for a 40-day trip to Scandinavia, the Soviet Union, and Czechoslovakia. Clinton stayed at one of Moscow's most exclusive hotels, the National. Clinton went on to Prague, where he stayed with Oxford friend John Kopold's parents, who were leaders in the Communist Party. The grandfather was a founder of the Czech Communist Party and a member of the party's Central Committee. In fact, Communist Czechoslovakia had been a training area for international terrorists. Shortly after Clinton's return to America, his friend Jan Kopold died mysteriously when he fell from the upper floors of a derelict building in circumstances that were unclear. Another close Clinton friend and a fellow draft dodger at Oxford was Frank Aller. When he returned to Spokane, Washington, he was found shot to death in September 1971. His death was ruled a suicide.
Start of the Clinton body count, folks.
Now, so a few other connections with what you just saw right there.
Yeah, and I wanted to real quick. Let me real quick, because I wanted to make sure. Remember what we watched yesterday? What kind of big people went to the island, right?
Yes.
And let's bring that in again, Shady. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. So what kind of people went to that island? Let's go to here one more time. It's important. This is
Prince founder Blackwater, former Navy SEAL.
Island, convicted pedophile. More information pertaining to the inappropriate sexting the guy was doing. They found State Department emails. They found a lot of other really damning criminal information, including money laundering, including the fact that Hillary went to this sex island with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein Bill Clinton went there more than 20 times. Hillary Clinton went there at least 6 times. The amount of garbage that they found in these emails of criminal activity by Hillary, by her immediate circle, and even by other Democratic members of Congress was so disgusting. They gave it to the FBI, and they said, we're going to go public with this if you don't reopen the investigation and you don't do the right thing with timely indictments.
Right. So now who just endorsed Biden? Communist Party. Biden.
The BLM?
Communist Party, dude.
This is getting so on the surface, it's creepy. They are no longer hiding it, everyone. And
so if you're a Democrat now, you're a commie. Do you understand? And not a Russian commie, a China commie.
A real one.
A real one, dude.
The Russians are the old commies. They didn't have tech.
Right. They were trying to get Russia, but Russia kicked them out in the 1990s. They kicked out the central bank in the 90s. It was very hard for Russia for a while. They were broke. People were in bread lines. Then, since they kicked them out, they are now more millionaires per capita in Moscow than ever before, Shady.
Yeah, because they actually freed the economic system there. And look at the way that they've painted Vladimir Putin. There's a reason for that. Same wrap-up smear that they use against your POTUS.
Every country that they don't control with their central banks is an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and so
that brings me up to this, Shady.
Yep, I know where you're headed.
McCarthy?
Yep.
Have you guys looked into the McCarthyism? Joseph McCarthy. He knew who the bloodlines were.
And he was trying to expose it. If you guys don't understand this, McCarthy, who has been demonized by the media as being crazy conspiracy theorist, was trying to expose the Luciferian agenda that existed in Hollywood and the bureaucracy of the government that Kennedy pointed out.
Let's listen. Oh, am I going to have a commercial?
This is
CNN.
This is CNN.
Oh, look. Here it is.
Today, the most dangerous enemy agent is not so much concerned with the secret information about weapons as he is with infiltrating the necessary departments of the government and shaping and controlling the actions of our nation, so that the enemy is progressively winning without even firing a single shot. Now, I intend to name
That's a Q post that we just read.
John S. Service. And remember that name, if you will.
I have never knowingly transmitted any information which was
knowingly
a secret military plan.
Service was hounded out of the State Department.
I had trouble renting homes, renting an apartment in New York. And the companies, well, what did our stockholders say, you know? So the companies that I had known and had dealings with abroad, export companies, they said, sorry.
One communist on the faculty of one university is one communist too many.
China infiltration of universities.
One communist among the American advisors at Yalta was one communist too many. And even if there were only one communist in the State Department, even if there were only one communist in the State Department,
Hillary Clinton,
there would still be one communist too many.
President Truman tried to dismiss McCarthy's attacks.
Not a single person who has been adjudged to be a
see the cover-up, folks?
Otherwise disloyal or remains on the government.
Shady.
Why were judges so important?
Yeah.
You know, it's like all of this stuff, like you have got to understand all of these people. I could show you, even the survey that tried to ask all the service members, would they turn on America? This is the vetting process. The invisible hand has a vetting process to get into these positions in government. And it isn't just some of them, everyone. It's most all of them, literally most all of them, including the swamp rats on the left and including the swamp rats on the right. And we were connecting this a minute ago to Bill Clinton. And I would like to connect you to what happened after Clinton took office in Serbia, Herzegovina, over there where we created a civil war right where they were talking about in that video, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
And where's Melania Trump from? You see how this is connecting? People understand this. They understand this whole game goes back. You know, your president isn't looking at the last 3 or 4 years. He understands the breadth of this. This is an ancient attack on a republic. No republic shall be established is their creed. That is their creed as a Kabbalistic organization of global control. They do not want a people's republic to actually exist. America is the closest thing that we've ever come to that. And you are the enemy number one because you have such ego that you're willing to walk around and think that you're free.
Yeah.
They want you back in the pen pronto.
That's
and you
right.
can see they want Q people back in the pen pronto too, because we're being surrounded by morons.
That's right. And let's check a little bit more of this out, guys.
Was that in this now famous...
Now, remember, he's talking to a guy by the name of Welch.
Did we discuss that yesterday?
Wasn't he GE?
This 2.25-page document. There were about 35 names listed. This is pretty serious. Have we had anything as serious as this so far?
Oh, yes, I think we've got something much more serious right now. Right at this
Well, I'm
moment.
talking about up
Yes,
to
yes.
prior to this hearing.
May I answer that question, Mr.
All right.
Chairman? I think we've got a much more serious situation now in communist infiltration of the CIA. Disturbs me beyond words.
Well, we haven't. The members of the committee have not been advised, and I do think that...
Oh, yes, they have. Oh, yes, they have.
Have we, the names and of the people...
I've discussed this matter with the members of the committee. I've also discussed with the members of the committee the question of communist infiltration of atomic and hydrogen bomb plants. I felt that was, I think, even more important than this infiltration at
just let me finish in view of this one point. May I have from the files all the memos and meetings and minutes with reference to this matter so that we on the committee can be fully informed?
You certainly may, Senator, certainly may.
Well, may I ask the distinguished chairman, have we yet received the names, and I assume they're in the file, of the claimed 133 communists that are ready for investigation? I've asked for it. Have I yet received it?
You would know better than I, Senator.
I would know better than
the information is available to you.
This is weird.
But
The
I'd like
lips
to
don't
know
match.
something of that. I'd like to have at least a little advance information.
Senator McClellan, may I say that you know that I have been tied up here day and night with this investigation. I frankly don't have the time now, and that's one of the reasons why I object to this show continuing on the road. As soon as we get through with this, I'm sure that Senator Markinson knows that I have been always completely frank with him. He can have every piece of information we have. It so happens, as you know, I've got a lot of respect for the Senator Markinson. I hope that.
Well, thank you.
I hope that doesn't hurt you in your campaign.
I think you know I never want anything but what's fair. And that's all I'm asking now.
You will have every piece of information, John, that you...
I'll be very glad to get what I've requested at your convenience. I hope it'll be soon.
Mr. Cole, what is the exact number of communists or subversives that are loose today in these defense plans?
The exact number that is loose, sir?
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
Roughly how many?
I can only tell you, sir, what we know about.
Well, that's 130, is that right?
Yes, sir, I'm going to try to particularize for you if I can.
I'm in a hurry. I don't want the sun to go down while they're still in there if we can get them out.
The sun to go down. Do you understand the symbolism he's saying?
I've got a suggestion about it, sir. How many are there?
I believe the figure is approximately 130.
Approximately 130.
Yes, sir, those are people, Mr. Welch, concerned...
I don't care. You've told us who they are. And how many plants are they?
How many plants?
How many plants?
Yes, sir. Just 1 minute. I see 16 offhand.
16 plants. Are you alarmed at that situation, Mr. Cole?
Yes, sir, I am.
Nothing could be more alarming, could it?
Certainly a very alarming thing.
Will you not, before the sun goes down, give those names to the FBI and at least have those men put under surveillance?
Sir, if there is need for surveillance in case of espionage or anything like that, I can well assure you that Mr. John Edgar Hoover and his men know a lot better than I, and I might respectfully suggest, sir, than probably a lot of us, just who should be put under surveillance. I do not propose to tell the FBI how to run its shop.
And they do
very
it.
well.
And they do it, don't they, Mr. Cohn?
When the need arises, of course.
Then they've got the whole 130, have they, Mr. Cohn?
I am sure of it, sir, and a lot
Well,
more.
then what's all the excitement about if J. Edgar Hoover is
J.
on
Edgar
the
Hoover.
job chasing these
that's Welch,
130 communists?
So there you go, Shady. I mean, kind of symbolistic now. They tried with Russia and failed and moved their operations to China. Hillary Clinton is a communist. She did a Saul Alinsky. What was it? Saul Alinsky, right, Shady?
Yes.
We've got Bernie Sanders admitting that he's a frickin' communist, guys. Are you guys awake? Not you guys, but is the country awake?
And
Shady.
so I just dropped you another link. I'd like to tie this together even a little bit more for everyone out there, just so they can see some connections to your president and what we're talking about here. Remember that the Russian czars helped us in the Revolutionary War. And then right here, you see, why did Jacob Schiff decide to financially sponsor the Russian Revolution of 1917?
And we haven't seen anything like this since 1917. Our president keeps saying, Shady.
Okay, yes. And who is the descendant of Jacob Schiff? We're pretty sure that's Adam Schiff in California. These were communists. They were devout communist Luciferians in hell-bent on global control. And so this right here gives you a little bit of a rundown of what happened during the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, where they changed the face of Russia and instituted communism, guys, behind the scenes as a pretext for invading and infiltrating America like a Trojan horse from all sides, from all these companies. Here's Kuhn Laub and Company, all this stuff to create the Balfour Agreement to create Israel was 1917, okay? All of this stuff to initiate the Second World War. Everything was set up. Nothing in politics happens without a strategy.
Now, who set up the Nazi? Who funded that?
The same people.
Right. George Bush Sr.'s dad, folks.
Correct. And who infiltrated the Republican Party, guys? Okay. The Republican Party was established by largely black people who were ex-slaves in the 1800s. In the early 1900s, Prescott Bush infiltrated the GOP and started running Nazi propaganda from within.
Right.
Co-opting it. You see, just like they co-opt everything. Like right now, people are trying to co-opt Q, aren't they?
No.
How's that different? You're trying to rebrand and make for yourself. Quite a few of them out there batting around and usurping Q right now and pretending like it's something different or something else. Infiltration, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we can be more clear.
Now you know why we're the most censored Q people on the internet.
Show me somebody else is talking about this, please. I'll look.
Right.
Because this is everything. This is your Q post. This goes back to all the early Q posts. The reason we track the bloodlines, the symbolism, the House of Saud, the Payseurs, the organizations of the trust against you, businesses not being able to open. Why? Because you're logged into the structure and you have no option. Your name, look at your driver's license, all capital letter, fiction. You're not real in law. Matter of fact, you were dumped at sea according to law per your birth certificate.
Now remember, we had a lot of ventilators made, right?
Sure did.
We didn't need them. We don't need them yet anyways, right? So we have a lot of ventilators made. They got a loan to make the ventilators, and that was GE Healthcare, folks. And GM helped, gave them a loan, paid back into the Treasury, not the Federal Reserve. Are you guys understanding that we are winning?
You have to see it. If you're out there and you're thinking the president is compromised or that there's stuff going on or whatever it is, you don't understand. We have to understand that we don't understand the whole picture. We see these massive pieces of the picture and we agree with the direction and we agree with the target. and that is the reason we have QAnon.
Right. So we got a Lebanese citizen that was injured in the explosions. There were two major explosions. One came from above and the other from the ground. One eyewitness saw the missile hitting the warehouse. Another claims to have seen planes flying near the time of explosion, folks. Wow.
So it's not going to be long, and you're going to see all the whatery to do with the deep state douchebaggery.
So now we see our president talking about the masks. We see our president talking about vaccines, and I want to touch on this. We have the cures. If we have the cures, which we think we do, hydroxychloroquine, there's going to be no need for vaccines, folks.
Correct.
They haven't even passed yet, folks.
Do we have to get these companies to make all these ridiculous amounts of vaccines so that we can bring them into the trust?
Mm-hmm.
From Big Pharma? What are we doing with Kodak right now? Right now, Kodak is undermining all worldwide prescription drug pharmaceutical companies that sell their drugs for normal prices in every other country, but jack the prices up here 10, 15 times because you have a healthcare plan.
And the mask the mask is a powerful symbol, Shady. A person wearing a mask is a startling sight that affects us on a visceral level. It instantly triggers our deeply rooted fear of illness and death. It unconsciously raises our brain's stress and anxiety levels while alerting us of impending danger. Fight or flight, right? Let me continue. On a human level, mask dehumanizes you and people around you. How can we relate or associate with people when we can't even tell if they're smiling or not? How can we connect with the people that we can only communicate using muffled words through a piece of cloth? We can't. I personally do not care, if you wear a mask or not. And if it makes you feel safer, then by all means wear one. You can even wear one and cover your eyes, ears, and for all I care, I don't even care, dude. You can wear a bag over your head if you feel safer. That's your right. But if you begin wearing a mask after the media masquerade ask you, why now, Shady? Why not during the height?
Why not during SARS?
Why not during the height? Let's just keep it here. Why not during the height of the COVID outbreak? Now, 3 weeks ago, there was 135,000 deaths. Today, there's almost 150. That's nothing, folks.
And that's with them trying to find people to count as COVID.
So our president did send out a tweet saying a mask. He is saying masks are patriotic. I get it. But not everything can be stated one-to-one. This tweet was 3:43 p.m. Eastern time. Bad people are watching. We've got to show them in order for them to change their will. The president is showing you how stupid it looks, Shady.
Yes, he is.
He's going along with their, in my opinion, he's going along with their narrative in regards to the vote, in regards to a couple of things. But you can't make decisions. People can't make decisions based on fact and research. Rather, they blindly obey the mass media. Because right now, the mask is not about health. It's about turning you into a walking, talking agent of fear. It's not about the virus. It's about the election. Now, let's listen to this, Shady.
My name is Butch, and I'm an American patriot. See that flag? I would die for that flag. The Constitution that you are supposed to uphold, I would die for that.
Now, that's what you guys need to be doing in your own cities right now.
Speaking up.
It passed, though, sadly.
It is appalling
these patriots.
That each and every one of you sitting up there as human beings, part of the human race, the only race that we have, would suggest to muffle people, to put masks on our face, to keep us from breathing oxygen, to get us to become sickly.
You preach pseudoscience and safety. Does anyone care about preserving the liberty of the people who pay your salaries? Some of you are up there smirking and smiling at public comments to which you do not agree. I have the photos, and they're shameful.
They want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door. You're all turning your backs on it. Can you prove that it's good for people to breathe carbon dioxide over and over and over again?
What about PTSD from child abuse situations? I was left in a hot car. You want to cover my face? I'm going to hyperventilate because I remember being stuck in that hot car. What about people like me? We don't matter because of the greater good, right?
I own a firearms business. Now, I think you might agree with me that it would be ludicrous for me to allow someone into my shop to purchase a firearm who's wearing a mask, whose face I cannot see.
We will get together and do a citizen's arrest on every single human being that goes against the freedom of choice, okay? You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people.
You're not God, and since masks are harmful, where there is risk, there should be choice. You're removing our freedoms and stomping on our constitutional rights by these communist dictatorship orders or laws you want to mandate.
Communist dictatorship orders. Shady.
That's exactly what you are facing. We are a free nation. Live free or die doesn't mean I'll wear a mask if you ask me to.
Right. I have a choice. Now, they say they support abortion, and it's the woman's right to choose, right? So what if it's the right for me to choose, Shady?
It is the right for us to choose.
Now, what's really interesting is the elite is not enforcing the mask because it cares about your health, guys. It's all about the agenda. The COVID infections, death drops around the world, right? It's dropping. It's the COVID infections and deaths have dropped around the world, and that is a fact. The masses are looking for a way back to some kind of normalcy. Now this new normal is a spell, guys, that they're placing on you.
It's interesting. Stay 6 feet apart so that the facial recognition cameras can see you better.
Also, isolation, staying 6 feet apart, no socialization is how they start the mind control on people.
Because they get you by yourself, and then you have no one to interact with and bounce things off of and associate with and think logically with, so that you get more information. Instead, you're by yourself in an echo chamber.
Disassociation is a mind control technique, period. Now,
one of the best ones.
This is interesting, Shady. This is from 2003, Dead Zone. And we had this before. I've tweeted this out before. But look at this. Guess what the cure is? Let's check it out.
We know it acts like a virus. It causes high fever and respiratory distress. Tracking and treating a mysterious outbreak like this would take the CDC months.
We better get started then. For anyone who hasn't been exposed already needs to wear a mask.
China. Isn't that where flu viruses come from?
Yeah. A lot of viruses come from there.
International flight to China?
That's no coincidence. Whatever it is, it originated in China.
Time is not on our side.
It's like looking for a needle in a needle stack.
We have ruled out all the usual suspects: influenza, SARS, bacterial pneumonia.
How long is it going to take?
Well, it took 34 days to isolate the coronavirus that caused SARS, and that's fast.
I'm authorizing a quarantine on everyone who's come in contact with a symptomatic person.
There's got to be something I can do.
On the enzyme, this virus when they were
So the chloroquine. So the chloroquine.
This is it. This is your virus.
I'm sorry, but there's no cure for that.
Chloroquine, that's an anti-malarial drug.
No. Listen, it suppresses the enzymes.
Mind control works, folks.
Welcome back, you damn fool.
Are you kidding?
It's not funny.
We started everyone on chloroquine. Stop the thing dead in its tracks. Now, the CDC would have figured it out eventually. But not in...
That is assault. Are you going to tell us? I want to take your picture
Go
and show
ahead.
it to the cops.
Go ahead, everybody.
Mind control works, guys.
You think this is cheap, not wearing a mask? I hope you die from the pit. I have a health problem, bro.
Teaching them this garbage.
You can take care of this just by walking to Thank you. You'll get a damn mask and put it on your face and for your service. We appreciate your service, sir.
Oh my gosh, dude. Are you kidding?
Funny. It's not funny.
I have a health problem. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Oh, I got a health
People
problem
are
too.
dying from this crap.
I'm asthmatic. Guess what? I'm wearing one.
Huh. So let's take it out, Shady. Let's zoom it back. China doesn't like the tariffs that we have put on their country that go into our treasury, your treasury. China does not like Microsoft and Trump getting in the way of that deal. to give China money. He wants it back into the Treasury, Shady. China does not like that we have exposed them as the agents that are here in the United States, controlling our schools, controlling our media, controlling everything that you are seeing and doing right now. We need to get back to our republic, guys. We are not a democracy. A democracy is a communist term, folks. Shady.
It sure is, man. I don't think it could be any clearer than that. I really would like to play this video if I've got over here for everyone to see. We got to start pointing out hypocrisy in our daily lives. And this gentleman does a really good job in explaining how hypocrisy really looks. And it's not simple, everyone. What you're doing right now, it's not simple. It's very, very tough what we're doing. And we have to stick together.
Here we go.
Is the systematic implementation of the fall of the republic and the rise of the corporation of the United States.
Communism.
Every major event is a step in the ladder to achieve that end. COVID is just another rung in the ladder, which is why there's a deliberate mixing of all the wordplay, right? I mean, we should stop calling it, quarantine. That's a term designated for people that are verified sick. This is a house arrest mandated by the state. You should stop calling it, social distancing. There's nothing social about forced isolation. We should stop saying safer at home when millions of Americans don't have basic necessities adequate to fit their needs. It assumes that everybody's home is equally as safe as the people that are making the statements. We should stop saying, this is for the greater good, right? When you close the economy, killing millions of businesses that families have worked generations to establish, that's anything but good. We should stop saying this is the new normal. That's just blatant mind control drivel. There's nothing normal about forced isolation, treating your neighbor like they have the plague, breathing your own bodily waste, wearing masks, living in constant fear of contamination. That's normal. I mean, after all, if the virus is so deadly, why hasn't it wiped out the homeless who don't social distance, wash themselves regularly, let alone, live in or have access to a sterile environment? Last year, 1.5 million people died of tuberculosis. Why were you not wearing a mask during the tuberculosis pandemic? You were endangering, public health and safety along with billions of other people around the globe. So why didn't you wear a mask? I'll tell you why. Because the mainstream media didn't tell you to wear a mask. Right? And so because though 1.5 million people died from tuberculosis, there was no tuberculosis pandemic any more than there's a coronavirus pandemic. What you're really participating in is a beta test for AI systems and facial recognition. See, these cameras work best when people are, distance apart. Now they're actually testing through machine learning how to recognize, a face that's partially covered. It's the two doctrine policy, one for the initiated, one for the uninitiated, one for the inner circle, another for the masses. It's like saying, if I violate the stay-at-home order, I can be arrested, but you're letting convicted criminals out of prison so they don't get coronavirus. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. If there's a real pandemic, does it require, faulty virus models, rigged test results, 81% false positives, inaccurate news reporting, staged hospital overruns, manipulated death certificates? Nope. When the government shuts down, millions of small businesses, but doesn't lay off any government employees, it's not about the health. When the state bans dentists from practicing but deems it necessary for abortion clinics to stay open, it's not about your health. When the state prevents you from buying seeds for your garden but allows you to purchase lottery tickets, it's not about your health. An institution that has the ability to destroy all of Earth through alleged nuclear warfare should not regulate personal self-defense. An institution that's caught trafficking drugs shouldn't be able to regulate plants. An institution that's racked up $23 trillion prior to coronavirus in debt shouldn't be allowed to manage the retirement fund. An institution that was caught spreading STDs should not be allowed to run health care. if people are really concerned about public health and safety, in general, but, they don't care if people, eat garbage, drink poison, smoke cancer, and take prescription drugs, but think that toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and masks are going to protect them from the boogeyman coronavirus. This is a special kind of stupid that I can't address here. You should ask yourself a couple basic questions. When did you consent from, you creating a government to serve you, to you serving the government ruling over you? If you want to know, who's in charge, just think about who you can and can't criticize.
Boom.
Yep, that's it, guys. And this is their communist New World Order agenda, folks.
Yep.
They failed in Russia, and they're back in China, folks. I think we hit a pretty big nerve on the New World Order. Please, if you liked this video, please share it. Please. I dare you. Shady.
I want to thank everybody for all of the help here. Thank you to the moderators for coming to the show today. We were a little bit late getting in, but we really wanted to get this in order for you. We have to show this in a way to where if you share it with someone, it's legible and it's understandable. So as we compile this, it's very important to Matrixxx and I to present this to you in a way that is easily used as a red pill. And so thank you for all the people that do share the show and that do support us and that stand up for Q. And we are going to see more people, guys. You're going to see more people fall away. You're going to see more people attack Q, and you're going to see more people start to attack your president. Watch out for it. Think logically, discern for yourself, and move forward with your own perspective. And that's the only thing that we can ask of you, my friends.
That's right. And Song Babe, thank you. Cindy, thank you. Sherry M, thank you. You guys are amazing. Lynette, thank you. Jerry S, thank you. Marcia, thank you. You guys are absolutely amazing. We could not do this without you. We love you. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, oxymoronic. Oh my God. Thank you for all you do. Oh my God, dude. Holy moly. Thank you. Guys, we're going to be back to Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. East. Go to this Matrixxx Live. I mean, it's right here. It shows that we're live. And this is the best way to do it because we can't set up the show anymore, guys. And then once we go live, you refreshed, you'll see that it's live right now. Here we are. Hey, me. There I am. And then you just hit this right here, and it takes you to YouTube. Monday through Friday. There I am. All right, guys. With that, we are out. Shady, Q Lounge Live Friday. Commit now?
Commit now.
Commit now.
That's funny.
We will probably have one, even if I have to be there holding your hand. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 1300 Eastern Time. We love you. God bless you.
Much love.
Put on that shield, guys. We are under major attack from all sides.